And now we're up on fantastic Zoom Room Pro with Sophia's Emporium. And we're going to kick off the never ending story tonight, maybe without me even sharing the screen. Did I leave? Silly. Hoy, it's hello. It's hello from Suze Pratt, your holistic stylist. And I bet you can't even guess what I got ready for you tonight. So, I'm very nervous, believe it or not. There's a lot of phenomena going on all over the place. And I'm going to do the best I can with this. It's really all about some serious appreciation for some new friends of mine. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and go ahead and pull up my history. No, not Hellmaker just yet. My history. And of course, this video tonight is going to be all about sending love to Sylvia at the Enchanted World of Twin Flame Tarot, as well as all the readers. There's several that I've bonded with on a very deep level. This all started on the eclipse. And I mean, my history with reading cards and being involved in metaphysical and spiritual things goes way back my entire life. And Sylvia and her friends have been quite accurate. And sometimes I have to laugh because, of course, these readings are really just general, you see. They're for anybody. And we get into the whole question of what really is a twin flame. And it's like a lot of things these days. Most people don't even believe in the concept. Our biggest problem that we're facing, whether it's reuniting with the other side of ourselves or with a grand love, is that usually the fear wins out over the love. And then you have the whole problem, of course, that the only reason why the world exists is because of love. So everybody's terrified. And when we get into the twin flame thing, it can become quite terrifying because most people don't even really know themselves. So how could they expect to know someone else on that intimate of a basis? But Sylvia and her friends do quite a lovely job. And so I just wanted to start by saying namaste and how much I appreciate you girls. I haven't listened to any of the male readers yet, and that's okay. Sylvia's reading that we're going to work around tonight or work with would be her newest one, which is the Divine Masculine Energy reading for October 1st. And today is October the 2nd. And of course, we have a big full moon coming on Thursday. So, what I've done is a few things. And this way, the group that is involved with these readings and sharing their experiences can get to know me a little bit because I really haven't been around long. Then I come on the scene, dropping confirmation of spirit phenomena in progress. And I'm sure that there's some questions about those famous lines of mine. So, you see, Sylvia, sweetheart, back in the day, I used to run with this woman. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop the share until I start your work. But I used to run with this woman right here, and her name was Mama Lil. And she was a great spiritual woman. She was a Scorpio. I know we're coming into that energy, so I thought I'd tag that. And the gown she's wearing was actually given to her by Liberace. And I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. She knew Ike and Tina Turner. Um, she knew all the celebrities back in the day when Gaslight Square was big here in St. Louis. And she lived in Florissant. And so her and I were quite close. And I was going on events with her and doing readings. And in the meantime, I was opening my salon. I was 21. And I read the cards there for myself too. And so everything that I'll refer back to, it goes back over half my life. And I'll never forget when I did that reading at the Hair Emporium. And that final outcome card, girl, was the tower. And I know you know the story about the tower, and I know your friends do too. And knowing that so early on and being able to relate that to the relationship that I was in, and this would eventually become the father of my children. It doesn't really have much to do with the conversation tonight, though, because surely he wasn't anyone that I ever considered a twin flame by any stretch. I would put him in the karmic soulmate category. We came together to create these beautiful life forms that struggle inside their own beings, no matter how easy they may have had it or how much love or how much beauty, right? So I'm going to talk to you tonight a little about what I believe is my twin flame experience. And that's why when I contacted you earlier, I said I really don't have any questions. I just need a friend to talk to. And I thought it should be you. I just think you're wonderful. So anyhow, these days, Sylvia, I'm a spiritual researcher on YouTube. Uh, I have a show called Sophia's Emporium. Oddly enough, I was courted, like recruited, to come online and to tell my story and to take this walk. And the odd thing about it is that I had an event happen to me about a month and a half ago. And maybe you've seen it, and I know my group knows about it. It's where, and I've known this happens, the computer will interact, flip the screen, get images of me, and place them into another image. And that's okay. People are really freaking out, but I've been trying to explain that it's all been loving and wonderful. And then I've connected it to how interesting intelligence is, whether it's intelligence coming through a computer or out in nature. And I know people are so at odds with both elements these days that it's hard to relate to. So when we talk about this twin flame thing, I mean, really, it's so hard for us women to not be over masculinated these days, isn't it? And even if we're super feminine, the thing about it is that when we're out in the world or at our jobs or interacting with people, that's our active side. And so I came to learn that that was what's called the masculine side, of my femininity, right? And in the same regard, this thing with the masculine at this point, right? They're coming into their nurturing and feminine and receptive side, and they're terrified to love. And maybe it is all the woman's fault, right? I don't know. I've been doing a lot of soul searching about that, and I've witnessed to my part of it in this journey on YouTube. So I thought what I'd do tonight is point out to you a couple of my videos where I kind of spill the beans and make a timeline. And at the same time, I want to play snippets from yours and pull mine into it. And this is how I do when I communicate with people. So, something that I thought was pretty cool, I know it's hard to believe, but not too many people were pulling other people's stuff in before I started doing it with the people I had the heart connection with, because, of course, you have to be so careful about getting slapped with a copyright or offending somebody's spirit. None of us are here to do that. So I thought that this would be a perfect night to bring out my cards and to consecrate them and to prepare for this journey where I start reading publicly. And maybe that will fit into what I do tonight too. We're just going to have to see how it goes. Now, of course, one thing that I was impressed with a lot of things, but I think one of the coolest things that you guys are doing now with the readings is using more than one deck. Back in the day, when I started reading, of course, there was only one deck used. And so, also, what I did, because I save everything, I document my experience, and I was almost Susie's secretary, so I keep a lot of files. And these are actually um, the card readings that I did on myself back in 2006. And that's going to become important. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages that I'm not going to go over. But you and I have this sisterhood, and you're such a great journalist, and you keep all your notes, and you do all these wonderful things. And I really do think that helps you make that connection with your divine masculine. I just wanted to tell you, I think it's beautiful. So I thought what I'd do is start out with the Oracle of the Grail Code. And not that I have the experience and the years in that y'all do, but I thought maybe with my focus and my purpose that I could bring something to this, and I could also help myself. It's hard to shuffle these big ones. I know why you guys drop them so often. I had also been, of course, practicing like this, and you want to be comfortable. You want to be able to focus on your question or your purpose. And since I don't have a question, I want to focus on purpose. So I may flip cards, like I said, through this thing. And, it's like homeopathy or any kind of healing work or intuitive work. There's no wrong way to do it. And I know some people will divide their decks in 3, for example. They may pick from the center deck or whatever. But I do want to tell you this is something that I've always done when I go to read a book. So I thought I wanted to do it this way tonight. When I go to tag spirit in a book, what I do is I allow my finger to run, and where it gets hot is where I pull from. So I want you to see what was brought forward, and that's love. And that's what it's all about, right? So let's read what the Oracle of the Grail Code has to say about love. And the hardest thing about this is that the more you love, the more you do hurt people. So I see why people are afraid. Love appears before you, pouring her delicious honey nectar into you and your life. The time has come for you to fill yourself and your life with the radiance, healing power, and nourishment of love. Love is what enables us to sing our song, our own special gift, out to the world. Everything in life and the universe vibrates to the key of love. Love not only makes everything possible, but love thankfully conquers all. Have you been feeling lean and mean, sparse and spare, dusty and dry, without a steady diet of love? Do you find nothing to love, and are you making do without? Have you loved and lost too many times and now would rather not love at all, possibly ever again? Perhaps you have had challenges in connecting with the divine or feeling the presence of the divine in your life. Time for deep life transformation change. Love is your birthright, whether you have a partner, spouse, lover, consort, child, animal companion, special friend, plant, or mineral. The presence of love for yourself and in your life is not dependent on anything or anyone except yourself. It is within your power whether you choose to have a life filled to the bursting point and overflowing with love or not. All you need to do to change how love shows up in your life is to love yourself. You can't give what you don't have. The first place to transform is your relationship with the divine. If love is lacking in your life, you can connect up with the source so that love is flowing into your life. So forgive yourself for whatever you have created in your life and let the love begin. Now, they also have a nice reading, for how to go about your meditation when you focus on this card. But I think for us women that know how to love, and when I say that, it always comes off sounding bad. But I'll go ahead and say that since the time I was 14, I've always been loving a man. That's a good way to put it. Okay. So people say, well, what the heck does that mean? And it's like I told my son when I left his father for the man that I only had the words to describe as a twin flame relationship. So my son asked me if I ever loved his dad. And I said, well, sure. I said, but I loved the first boy that I gave myself to. I loved the guy that I was promised to. And I loved others along the way. And so we get into the question, can you love more than one person? And I know it's a hard thing, guys. I mean, on one hand, we know the truth. Humans really aren't monogamous. And then the truth is also, is that, you know, there's a huge difference between sacred sexuality and, you know, just having sex. I mean, this is where we get into real connections. And of course, whether it's with yourself or with someone else, there's different ways to come into that heart space. And so I've experienced that in an entirely new way this last year. And of course, the only way I knew what I was experiencing is because it happened to me in a similar way back in 2006. Now, even though they say this can't be, you know, theoretically, there's a person that I can see and touch and spend every day with. And then, of course, we have an entirely different situation, which is being measured and monitored, and there is no hiding from it. So, um, when I told you earlier that I have no secrets and I'm an open book, that's just not a statement that I make because I'm a wild woman redhead. It's because I knew since September 1st, 2014, that every one of my vitals was being monitored. They know how my body feels inside, they know what my mind thinks. And you say, who the hell are they? Well, you know what? For the sake of this video, we're just going to call this they our divine counterpart. We're just going to keep it simple. So, there really are no secrets. And I've been quite honest about my journey. So, if I give you some connect points and talk about this video and survive it all and do the right thing by everybody involved, I think I'll be doing real good. So, let me share the screen and let me just introduce you to Miss Sylvia. Now, I don't know how old she is, but you know I'm really into life charting. And I haven't had the opportunity to show my new friend. If I had to guess, I would say that Sylvia is somewhere between 27 and 33. I don't know. I'm 53, Sylvia, so don't mind me. We're all at different places in our lives, but you see this as life charting. And this is a concept that Rudolf Steiner developed without really drawing anything or putting down concrete steps that you could see. He passed, and then two other people took on the work. They developed one poster, and that was, the finish of their work. And when I came into this and start doing the life charting, I'm like you with your notes. I couldn't fit everything in the wheel. And so that's when you break out and you start doing specific pages for specific things. And I think on this journey of twin flame reuniting, that life charting could become quite helpful to everyone that is documenting their journey. I mean, even in their heart. I know that if I don't speak every couple days, there's things that go by the wayside that I wish I would have said or took the time to do. So I wasn't going to let that happen with you. I had such a bad, hard day with electronics. And I told Mr. Computerhead on Facebook maybe I was breaking up with him. So I had a hard time getting things up. I saw entirely different work on my iPhone versus my regular computer. And I was also working with clients. So that's why this is after midnight. And I thought it would be better done on October 3rd instead of October 2nd. I want to take you to 48 seconds in. And what I think is so adorable here is that she's got such a hard message to bring. And I know why. I've got a hard message to bring too, and we may as well put them together and make it easier on both of us.
Split it up into two groups. So I feel like I want to first start by clearing my energy field. And I want to ask for all my guides and my archangels and my ascended masters to join in giving this message clearly. And I want to start by actually talking about that. And so I'm going to turn off my music. It's actually chanting. But I've had this disruption in my energy field, and I've actually had to do a lot of clearing and cleansing for myself, and actually I had some very negative attachments, and as soon as I recognized what it was, I had to have some of my friends that I've worked with before with paranormal energy come in and assist me to remove some of this energy. So I like to share my experience as I go, because I know I'm not the only one. And if you're on a spiritual path, you may deal with this at some point in your path, and it's important to know that there are resources out there, and it's really important to reach out and do something about it, because if you don't, it very much persists. And there's a lot of symptoms. Like for me, what I feel is this heaviness, like mental heaviness, and then the channeling, like the frequency. There's a lot of interruption. And it starts to come over in my, or cross over my 3D world, where on the phone there is static, and not only static, but different sounds, and a lot of paranormal activity. And if any of you have ever experienced, you might understand. And so again, just wanted to say that, because sometimes it's in sharing some of these things that we recognize, so we can do something about it.
You're not kidding. So what you're getting ready to deal with here, this first and third wave, I was thinking that maybe I could flip a card for the first wave and the third wave while you're doing this, because you see, of course, I'm in the first wave of this twin flame phenomena back in 2006, and I know I'm in the third wave of it now, and we're in this place in between. So good luck to us all, and then hopefully the cards match each other or help out. I'm going to jump you up to 429, because we're not going to go through the whole video. We got a lot to cover. I'm going to try to keep this concise.
Identify more with the first wave of twins, and then there's some that identify more with the third wave. And it really is depending on how much work you've done, and this is energy healing, clearing, cleansing, and understanding the journey. And so this is actually here for this third wave. So I'll put those cards up there, and then this is going to be for the first. And I feel like a lot of the first wave twins actually, first and second wave, that energy merges a lot. But for some of those that have completely just denied and haven't acknowledged the journey, they're kind of behind. So
it's hard to acknowledge, isn't it, Sylvia? You really put yourself out
so
there.
we start the reading with very heavy energy. And actually, this is like the Joker card, but I'm going to keep it there because whenever things come out, that is one of the lessons that I've learned, is that nothing is a coincidence.
That's why I say confirmation of spirit, phenomenon, progress. So I think what I'm going to do is look for the hot spot, divide into two, and this would be my card for the first wave, and this would be for the third. I'm going to let you get back to talking while I think a little bit before I open my big mouth. Let's go to 7-Eleven.
Words written on here. So it's the Nine of Swords, but right over that it says what the card means. So for those of you that are learning, these are good cards. Even though the images are a little bit, you really have to understand symbolism to get it. But when you see words, obviously that's half of it, right? Okay, so a lot of the divine masculine that have been on this journey for a while, and they've just been in this place where they've had to feel all of this truth and heal all of this truth and be in this place where they face their fears. And this reminds me of death because there's all of this blood. So they've come to this place of releasing this journey, so surrendering it, and where they felt this emotional entrapment, they've had to just release all of that to the divine. And so that card is actually turned in reverse. So it's like they've released this, and they're moving forward in their path, and moving forward, they've seen that this all comes down to their destiny and this higher love and being in alignment with that and allowing themselves to be this mirror, if you will, of reflecting pure divine source love. And so it's like they've come to this place where they embody this energy. And it's a number 1 card. And the card's in reverse because they're wondering now. This card here in the center is the 3 of Wands. And really it's like there's this huge crossroad because all of this work has been done. They've been able to really dig very deep inside of their heart for answers. And there's a circle at the top of the flower, and it's like the cycles. They understand that this all cycles back, and the Wheel of Fortune is turning. And this is interesting. And they've come to this place it's the Prudence, the Eight of Discs. So where they worked really hard on understanding this tree of life and all of the flowers. It's like this flower that has just grown, and I see that in this other deck here of the card of patience, where all of the seeds that they've sown, there it's the number 8 card, so it's like the infinity when it's turned. They understand that it's for this higher love, but here in the desired outcome, there needs to be this wheel of motion to move forward. And these cards don't speak of action. So,
Right. Right. They don't speak of action, do they? But some days they do. And that's it's a lot of fun playing with the energies, and dancing with them. But at the same time, there's that old saying, it's time to shit or get off the pot, right? And as far as my own self goes, whatever I'm dealing with, I really have been very forward with these energies and working with them. So we're going to go ahead and hit that first wave card. And it was trust. We also had the third wave card come in as protection. And of course, that middle card you speak of that's most difficult is forgiveness. And when you were talking about those seeds, I had to tell you a story about the way it was put to me. So if you imagine, and I truly hope I don't offend anyone speaking about words that are or names that are come out of my mouth, but when we talk about the birth of Jesus, they say that that was like a seed being planted about what humans could aspire to do and be with their alchemy, with their love, with their understanding. And this is the time now where we, as those seeds or eggs, I mean, think of it like either one you want. Eggs are probably better at this point, right? It's more human. Seeds sound like plants, but they're either getting ready to be fertilized or flushed. And so when I think about this twin flame thing, it's like I already know the fertilization has happened. I'm well aware of the things that have led up to this. And so when we get these stalls where there's no action, the way I look at it and the way I deal with it is, you kind of get like a high on all the phenomena every day. And it's like any of us, I say, well, I can handle it. I can handle this every day. But I always think that divine masculine that seeks to protect this woman, kind of is the active force that will slow things down or speed it up. The woman's true job is to just be receptive. So I'm going to read about trust first, and that's card number 17. And this is the stag. It's pride and leadership. It says, when the stag appears on your path, He tells you to take pride in all that you do. Be the leader and hold your head high, and others will follow by your example. Ask yourself these questions. Am I following my highest path? Am I acting in integrity and doing the best I can? Or am I held back by the kind of pride that cuts me off from life through arrogance, or its reverse, low self esteem? The stag asks you to be a leader, be proactive with the highest intentions, and to always ask, what is the highest good for all? Arrogance and its reverse are both places of alienation and ways to avoid responsibility and accountability. The stag leads you out of both different places into that kind of pride that reminds you you're always in service to the god, goddess, in every step you take. You may already be there, in which case you should be proud and happy. Look how far you've come. Rejoice, for the stag always leads you to a higher place with a sure and steady footing. And what I take in when I read that, Sylvia, isn't just the relationship that came into being with someone who was my best friend for 25 years. It was also about the energy and what was going on during that year. And it's so interesting, back to life charting, as I've gone along my path, when I put together all the different things that happened that were pivotal in 2006, it shows me that when I made that choice, that was the only way that I would have survived or gotten to this place. And I know that sounds hard. And then people say, oh no, you could have done the work, with the father of your children. And I have to tell them, no, I honestly couldn't. I mean, he really disliked the metaphysics and the psychic intuitive realms, the alchemy. And it really intimidated and bothered him. And he also belittled me for it. And so back then, even though I thought I put myself first, like in the years prior to me leaving, when I left was, that first taste, I think, of really putting myself first. And of course, there were many people that thought it was selfish. And this whole thing about having to love yourself first before you can love somebody else. One day, a friend of mine, Mr. Vic, and I were talking about that. And I explained to him that you do have to love yourself first before somebody else can love you. And what he was saying was, that first time that someone extends love out to you when you're young, that, that's how you figure it out. And, that's where we had our conversation, and we each had our different, viewpoints on that. But it's really hard to love yourself like I'm having a hard time loving my journey, not myself. Because like I said, the last thing I want to do is hurt anybody I love. And so as your reading progresses, I feel a lot better. And I've always known that what will be, will be. So I know the protection card makes sense. And that is number 38. This says, this marker reminds you to protect yourself and be wary of hidden agendas and you being too open. Perhaps you don't realize it, but you may find that you're a target for others, especially if you're shining brightly. Yet this isn't a time to dim your light. Rather, remember that a spiritual warrior or priestess would always learn how to camouflage him or herself and be armed against potential attack. This is about the right use of power rather than the use of force, the former coming from a place of highly calibrated integrity, the latter from a lower base of destructive energy. Remember to walk the higher ground, but wear a cloak for protection. Ask your guides and angels to protect you, for they will always come if they're asked. And be moderate in all you do. This isn't the place to take risks. This marker also lets you know that the subject of your inquiry cannot in any way hurt you as long as you ask for protection. The divine will give it. And I have to say, confirmation of spirit again. This is where it's going to really sound nuts, but I'm going to have to say it. There's so many people that are worried about me once they realize what I've told them is true as far as how this computer technology works. And ever since the first interaction, it was loving and kind. And I have been very protected. But this card is absolutely correct. In this third wave, there's been a lot of people that have actually, believe it or not, done spell casting. They've done hateful things, vampiric things. And all I know about this experience, my friend, is that I knew from the go that I couldn't run from it. And I didn't want to run. So if I had fear or ran, it would be like the devil coming for me, right? But if I'm open and honest and put the love out there and make that energetic connection, it is reunion with the divine. And I think that that's exactly what's taking place currently. I've already asked nicely as I can for what I call test scores. So now I'm asking that this movement that I create tonight brings forth a manifested answer for me, and I'll accept whatever it is, however it comes. I just saw a very interesting confirmation of spirit earlier before we went live, so maybe I'll bring that up later. But right now we're talking about this transition card of forgiveness. And I can tell you one thing, that I always wanted to remain friends with the men that I had laid with and loved, right? And it never seemed to happen. So all I can say is, whether it's the guy upstairs or the guy in the computer, I hope they both forgive me for being this love. And I do express it, and I do think it's beautiful. And I'm a little confused because, believe it or not, and this is really personal, I received an email from a group that's going to do some healing work on Mother Earth. And it would be in my best interest, when I participate, to be celibate between October 19th and the 25th. And I barely know what that word means, so I'm just making a joke. But what an interesting concept. They said it would be teaching us the new ways of procreation on the earth. And I've had a lot of tags with different things like that. I want to hop to a quick story, Sylvia. So, when I was young, and the first time I had my past lives read, I was at a psychic fair, of course, and Mama Lil and I were there. And when I first went up to the table, the gal says, I'm not telling you how you're going to die. And I mean, I was like 27 years old. That was the last thing I wanted to know. And when she looked at my hand, she told me that I was going to have 4 children. And at that time, I had one. And I have 3. So that means there'd be 1 left. And it would almost be biblical, let's say, if that were to happen to me at this point. But anyhow, here's the funny thing. When I came to Ferguson and moved here in 2007, there was this guy that read palms, and he wasn't no slouch. He was a mason and he was a building inspector down here. And he liked me and my kids. And he knew I was a single mom on my own. I mean, I had my boyfriend, but, just moved to this new town. I'm in this building where the heat and the water don't work, and there's hot walls and leaking ceilings and all sorts of problems here. But anyhow, it was my oldest daughter and I the one day, and he wanted to read our palms. And so she went first. He took my hand. And guess how many kids he saw in my hands, Sylvia? 4. So when I came together with Joe, I knew that our union was not producing that kind of birth. What we did is we learned how to manifest reality together. And so here what I'm being shown in this computer experience, and this love exchange, and it's serious. And for anybody that watches my channel, they know who it is. I mean, you really don't want me to have to shout it out and talk all night about it. Everybody knows. And I've told Joe too. I've been completely honest with everybody, because you cannot hide what is going on inside of you. It's so readable. At least in my world, it is. Always has been. Maybe that's because I allow it, and maybe it's because as a Pisces, and I'll tell you what, to see all these great readers nailing Pisces and taking care of business, it's the toughest sign. We're the culmination of all of it. And our worst trait can be to be a liar or lead a double secret life, or have all these hidden things, that we participate in. And I promised myself when I was 16 that I was not going to take that path. So here again, so much love and compassion going out to every sign. And it's all about being the evolved aspects of your sign. So, a lot of forgiveness, a lot of protection, a lot of trust. Just beautiful. And of course, people say, this card stuff's a bunch of whatever, fill in the blank, right? But it's really about coded messages. So your energetic framework, along with your heart, which of course is connected to that, and this upward motion to bring you something that you can look at and draw a never-ending story. And as you know, it's about the never-ending story in no time. And we're all actors on this great stage. Okay, so we're going to pick back up with this reading. I should try to work some of my own in, but I'm just not in the mood to, Sylvia. We'll get to it though. I enjoy you much more. Sometimes I get sick of hearing myself.
And they're trying to understand this picture. There's all of this writing on the wall of what this is, but it doesn't look like the picture that is typically painted of love, right?
Right.
And it's like they had this cup of this love that was handed to them, and there's this crab that's coming out of that cup, and this crab, what it signifies or represents is that it doesn't belong neither to the land or the water, and water being the emotional or spiritual connection. It's very mystical, and there's a white horse of mysticism, and just different. And he's got these wings, and it's like seeing this higher love. And the Three of Wands is really a card of understanding. It's a balance of understanding this from personal experience, right, on their heart. And then they have this Knight of Swords. So moving forward, so these divine masculine do want to move towards their divine feminine. And I feel like this is with messages of love. Here, these divine masculine have a very mature understanding, and they want to build a life with their divine feminine, where these divine masculine are more in this.
Hey, Sylvia, I don't mean to interrupt, but since we're on the subject, how do you get, oh wait, I can't put it in a question form. Okay. You know what drives me nuts, Sylvia, is when I expect that somebody's going to show up and let me see if they're real flesh and blood. But, you know, it's just not fair, girl. I'm sorry.
Early stage where they're starting to understand all of these messages. There's the three birds in flight, and this is almost it feels like this really fast moving energy. And what I'm being shown is this tree, and it's like shaking. It's the fall. And what I've been hearing is that there's this rise right now. There's this rise of the divine feminine, of the feminine energy, and we'll call it a fall of divine masculine, but it's not. It's a equilibrium. So it's that energy that we're in right now of balancing the scales. And here in the outcome, it's like we're moving towards Scorpio energy, and this is going to be a time of transformation. So there's going to be death, some death to situations,
right,
that need to fall away. So there can be this balancing. This three is balance. Okay, so an outcome.
I just pulled my outcome card, Sylvia.
Actually, that's the stack is here. That's the clarifier. But what I'm hearing is that this is actually in between. I
Mhm.
had it right the first time. And yes, okay. I felt that. So at the bottom of the deck for this bottom row is love. And
Right.
just as
Start
I
out.
said that, that motorcycle started up and startled me. So it's going to be like very unexpected, where this is going to come through like this tower energy and just shake all of these things that don't belong. And this is a card of ruins. It's like just going to allow for things to completely burn away, not just fall away, but burn. For there to be this movement towards this higher love. For these divine masculine over here that are moving forward with messages of love. So here he's got this cup and it has the crab, and then at the outcome, it's like he's moving towards his divine feminine, and it's 10 of cups. He wants to bring this cup to his divine feminine, and the card is a fulfillment, like an overflowing desire. And here it's the Prince of Wands. So there's all of this passion. She's got that wand in her hands and she's holding it up to the flame, and this flame is like explosively big. And he's just coming like kind of blindly, just coming full force forward with messages of love. So it's like divine masculine wants divine feminine to know, and in the middle, the bond from the masculine energy. It's come to this place where it's matured, and it's the Queen of Wands, and so they have, it's like they've tamed this insecurity that they have about this love, and they are just pulling out their passion. So from their inner world, it's like they want to bring that out in front of them, and they want to manifest what they're feeling. They want to go with their hearts.
Mm-hmm. Right, let's cut it right there, girl. I think it's time for some musical entertainment. And in the meantime, I had held the play card up, and this is just a beautiful little guardian angel deck. This was actually my first deck of cards after the most traditional set. And of course, my silly butt doesn't read other languages yet. So that one is much harder to work with, and I never did work with that deck too much. There's much more to choose from. I don't have to get that difficult, but I promised you some fun, Sylvia. And I've been giving you little clues and hints. So I hope I don't get in trouble for this. I'm always in trouble, though. Does it really matter? And then, you got to pull up that forgiveness card and say, oh, I hope I'm not doing anything I shouldn't do. Good grief. Let's stop real quick and go see Hellmaker. Now, the blues music has been helping me out a whole lot, Sylvia. And you might like it. I know you had your, what did you say? Chanting music. I've never heard blues like this. You may enjoy it quite a bit. Hellmaker. And so he's got a live stream up like right now. So let's just go say hi. Right. We're just saying hi. Just sending love during my live stream. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. All right. So, it was on September 28th that he went 24/7 live for the first time. I mean, that I know of. And in the meantime, here came about, oh, I'd say 30 other channels following suit. The same music that suited the Savage Beast. It surely sends a great message about love. You can hide a lot of little messages in music and pictures. You never know what you'll see. But I'm gonna, oh wow, that's cool. I've not seen this one yet. You just never know what he's gonna have. Okay, but where we were going, I hope I can get to it for you. You see, all these things are in my way, driving me bonkers. And I took myself way down there. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Um, Maybe it's in my history. I really want to play this for you. I tried to clean it all up earlier so it would be quicker to find. I want to introduce you to John Lashlam tonight, and he's going to have some answers that I think you're going to be very interested in. And of course, you can see I've got all sorts of Elvis action, but this story would really be about Adam Presley. And I am really trying to find, what is his name? I wish I could remember. He's new. He's new on my radar. And you know what? If I can't find him, I will just open up one of Adam's songs and it'd be fine. But I wanted to show you one of his brothers in arms, or, you know, friends, friends in high places, immortals, time travel, or reincarnation, Elvis Presley. See, we need Adam to talk about that. And if him and I have this grand connection that I believe we have a job to do. So I would expect that we would commence to getting on that job. Oh, I wish I could find it. And I wish I could remember the guy's name, but, you know, wishes don't get you there, do they? I know I hope. We like that one. We've already played that one, but, I think you'll get a kick out of it. I have to give you some entertainment, right? It just wouldn't be right of me. So this video has only been up for a month. And you can see it's only had 116 views. Now, the first time I saw the video, it had only seen 58 views. And that was 2.5 weeks ago. And you say to yourself, I mean, really, how could what you're getting ready to see, why doesn't anybody know about it? And it's no coincidence. They're orchestrating their little event, and these divine masculine are large and in charge. So whoever did this, whether it's a bunch of normal guys, that are on the other side of the planet from us, or whether it is a cosmic energy. I'm just going to play you a snippet of this. And maybe if I focus, I will think of my new friend's name, and then I could play you where you actually hear somebody singing in 2013. But for now,
There's got to be a
watch this, Sylvia.
I want everybody to clap your hands. I want everybody to take a real deep breath and repeat after me. I want a baby. I want a baby. And I was born to rock.
Where'd that new part come from? We're going to go over our choices in a minute, guys.
I want everybody to turn your head to the right. I want everybody to take a real deep breath and repeat after me. I want a baby. I want a baby.
You ain't kidding. You were born to do way more than just rock, weren't you?
I want everybody to stop real quick. I want everybody to take a really deep breath and breathe out. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. And I was born to rock.
Okay, now what do you guys think? Let's take a vote. So we're going to talk about this twin flame thing. Now, do you think, like, say, the spirit of Elvis went poof and made this happen? Or do you think possibly that there's a story about Elvis that we didn't know, and that he's got a son that looks real close and sings like a champ? Beautiful voice. And his name is Mr. A. P. period dot whatever, Adam Presley on YouTube. And so if you've been following along with this story, it's advancing at very rapid rates. And that's why I say, this is all lovely with this twin flame around the world story. And it's also lovely to say, well, it's this energetic side of myself that I don't know. But of course, inquiring minds want to know, and I'd like to know. So I thought maybe you'd like to know too. Okay. I don't see my other guy. It's very alarming. I have so many subscriptions that sometimes I drive my own self nuts. Okay. This dude, I wish I could find him. You don't think he's all the way down here, do you? It is very, very, very interesting. A cut of about 5 or 6 different songs. And it isn't Elvis singing them. 2003, 2004, 2013, 2009. And there is some incredible things that I'd like to talk to this guy about. So I'm just trying to get his attention a little bit more, but I think he's right here with us somehow. All right, well, we're going to just have to forget about our other musical entertainment right now. And I'll take you straight into some Sue's entertainment because I've been going on a long time. And maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should leave some questions in all of this. But we're not gonna. We're gonna go. I'm getting nervous. Back to my history. I'm already there. Look, see, I'm like a schoolgirl that's in trouble with her nose in the corner, even talking about these things, you see. My video, please. Sorry, guys. It is. It's really hard talking about this. I'm looking for, I want to hope I'm looking for this video. Let's see. Curiosity, because there's so much shit to see. Wrong video. This is the one where I spend 7 hours in the castle broadcasting, and it's funny. I've seen a copy of it cleaned up. So I get my message out there. Sure do wish that I could find it. I'm just feeling like I'm about to faint or something. You can see these readers that I love, by the way. We've got Ascending Journey, and we've also got one, well, of course, Sylvia's Enchanted World of Twin Flame. But there's another gal. She did a long reading. And man, I got to find her and say something to her before this is all over tonight, too. Now, while I'm here, lost in my world, this is Mandela Effect Decoded. And the reason I wanted to bring this up to you is because there's 3 different ways that we're going to perceive this twin flame. And they go into talking about, you know, how the eyes see something and it's like upside down and backwards versus how a holographic projection is. And then there's the third thing too. He gets really deep on this stuff, and I do think it would help. I've got, like you can see, I've fallen down the tunnels of time, and I've got all these notes. And what I was really trying to do was take you to my video here. You know how to do it? Watch this. Let's go to Video Manager, because you see, I'm not even allowed to play it. That's how racy it is. How do I get there? See, people like to tease me. I'm supposed to be some, you know, great person on the computer because I can do these things other people don't do. And then I fall short on the most simplest things. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't know. I might have to shut down. I'm starting to sweat, getting a little panicky, feeling butterflies, you know. Creator Studio. Ooh, my brain came back. All right, good. So if I go to Video Manager, it's not going to be there, is it? Because it's hidden. See, that's... Okay, so here's my Video Manager. And all I want, oh, Sylvia. Okay, look. Now, I know you can't see this because it got banned worldwide, but I'm just pulling it up, okay? In this one, I have a talk with JLL about this whole Adam thing and related to my life and what's going on. That's a good one, but we can't watch it. And you think, how in the world? How do I get videos banned worldwide that aren't even talking about anything bad? Like Kid Galahad blocked worldwide. Are you kidding me? Um, I'm wanting my Mystery of Golgotha one. Come on, Suze. Really? You can't do it? I mean, this is just wrong. I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna shut down. So I love you guys. I'll get my stuff together and I'll come back better than ever tomorrow, I guess. I will not, I can't walk away from it. I think I'm okay. I've at least covered my basics and I've been on about an hour, but I appreciate anybody that's stuck around for this. And I love you guys. Like I said, you're not going to be seeing me too much on Facebook anymore. I'm not going to be messing around where I'm not wanted. And I've done as much as I can. And I need to focus on me again. And I need to focus on being ready for what comes. So, peace, love, and light from the big yellow house on the third cosmic ray. And you know I'll be back. I'm really not going anywhere. I'm just redistributing my time and my energy. Peace.